Hello and welcome to the third part of this Create Iconic Fashion Portraits video tutorial. In this part we're going to look at correcting the colour and then we're going to apply the cross-process effect using levels. So the first thing we want to do is just to correct any colour casting going on, and before we do that we're just going to make sure that we've got our move tool selected, and from the last part just check we haven't got any areas selected in the picture. So if I just go Control H, and that shows we've still got our sleeve area selected, and we just go Control or Apple D, and that'll deselect that area. So with that done, we're all prepared to start applying our colour effects. So if we go over to our adjustment layers, choose levels, and that brings up the levels dialog window. Now what we want to do is set our grey point. So you'll see three pipettes. First one sets our black point, second sets grey, final one sets the white point. And what we want to do is set our grey point. So if we click in the middle pipette, go over to our image and just click once, and you should instantly see the colour of the picture change. Now if I was to click on the skin, you'll suddenly see we've almost got a cross-process effect there, but we want to actually click on a neutral grey area of the picture just to neutralise the colours. If I just click preview on and off, we can see the effect of the before and after. So we've got a much more natural look to the picture. Once we're happy with that, click OK. You may find you need to click on a few different areas of grey just to neutralise those colours. So give it a little bit of experimentation. Now what we want to do is start to apply the cross-process effect. So again, we're going to go up to our adjustment layers, select levels, and again we'll see our levels dialog window. Normally we go in and we start to just move the sliders just using the standard RGB channels, but today what we're actually going to do is look at those channels individually, and we're going to adjust them with different settings, and you'll see the results give something very like the cross-process effect. So the first channel that we're going to attack is the red channel, so just click channel and pick the second one down, which is red, and what we're going to do is just increase the red to 60. So we're taking the shadow areas and we're increasing the red all the way up to about 60, and what that means is that all of this area that once contained red, now all of that saturation of red has been taken out. And what we'll do is we'll repeat that for our green channel, and again we're just going to shift that up to probably about 40. And the final channel is the blue channel, and because we want to give the image quite a blue look, what we're going to do is just increase the shadows to 30, and that just starts to really darken down all of those shadow areas. If I just hold down Alt and just move the slider, we can actually see how it's increasing the areas shown here by black that's being clipped by red. Now we want to just reduce the highlights down to 230, and that's just going to start to clip out some of the blue highlight area as well. So if you just have a look at before and after, and you can already see how we're starting to get the real sort of fashion portrait look. Now with the adjustments made to each of the channels, what I want to do now is to adjust all of the channels together. So if I go back to channel, click on RGB, and we can see all of our RGB information in the histogram there. And what we want to do is just to decrease the highlights down to about 230, so that's starting to get the nice sort of cross-process burnt out highlights, and we're actually going to increase the midtones to 1.3, and that will just lighten things up a little bit, because by reducing the shadows we've just darkened the image just a little bit too much. So if I take that to 1.3, and we've now applied our sort of cross-process look to the picture. So I'll just click OK, and we can now see how that's really brought out the fashion look to the image. If I just click off our two levels layers, and we can really see the difference that's made between the before and the after results. Now, just for a little bit more working of the image, if you've got any areas of highlight, just over here on the left, we've got a little bit of the shirt showing through that we don't really want. And what we're going to do is just use the burn tool just to take that out. So if I click on our burn tool, shortcut for that is just O. Make sure that I've got a relatively large and soft brush, and I've taken the exposure down to about 5. In the range I've picked shadows, and all I want to do is just very quickly just go over that shadow area just to burn it in a little bit. Now with that bit of shadow done, I'm just going to reduce the brush size slightly, and I'm just going to go very quickly over a couple of these wrinkles in the skin of the model, and that just brings them out and just accentuates the face a little bit more, giving it that real sort of fashion look. So spend a little bit of time dodging various areas of the picture, and once you've done that, switch over to your dodge tool. Again, make sure that your range is in highlights this time. Set your exposure to about 5%, and with quite a large brush we can just bring out a few of the highlights in the hair area as well, and anywhere else you want to just pick out the detail. So once you've done your dodging and burning, give yourself a little bit of time to go through that. Don't push it too far, otherwise you'll really pull back the quality of the final image. So once you've finished, go over to your layers palette, click on the layer options and just select flatten image, and that'll pack all of those layers down into one. And for the final stage, we just want to apply some sharpening. So if we go up to enhance, adjust sharpness, we're going to go for an amount of about 60 and a radius of about 1.4. Now I've made sure here that I've got my preview at 100%. If I just zoom around the picture, I can actually see that that's looking really quite nice and crisp. If I increase the amount at all, you can start to see things go a little bit over the top. We've got a little bit of pixelation really coming in, and again if I increase the radius we sort of get that sort of washed out look, and we're getting a lot of burnt out highlights and just over sharpened, so you can really see the effect of that. If I take the radius down to about 1.4 again and just reduce the amount to about 60, and we can really see we've got quite a nice natural sharpening going on there, and we haven't actually started to deteriorate the image by over sharpening. Okay, when you're happy with the result of that, just click OK. That'll apply the sharpening to your portrait. And there we have our final iconic fashion portrait.